So in this video we're going to have a look at how we can use GitHub, which is an online website which allows you to store your Git repositories online. And if your Git repositories are on the net, that just means that if you go to another computer which has Eclipse installed, you can access your source code from anywhere. And also it can be handy because you can give your URL to your Git repository to other people, and they can download your source code, for example check it for errors or something like that, give you feedback. So GitHub provides you with a lot of convenience. If you're using Git for managing your source code, then this will give you a lot of extra ease of sharing that code with other people. Okay, so the first thing to do is to go to the github.com website and create an account. I've just created a free account here, and then once you've created the account you should get through to a page like this, and you click on Start a Project. Now this will be your username, and you need to create a repository name. Since my project here is called Demo, I'm going to call this repository Demo, and I'll just write a short description. So this is a demo repository. Now you can choose whether you want your repository to be public or private. Like I said, one of the advantages of having a GitHub account online is that you can share it with other people. So let's make it public. I'm going to skip the README. I don't need a README in my repository. This .gitignore file, it just tells Git that some files don't need to be backed up, don't need to be snapshotted. So it is quite handy. If you go and choose Java, then it's going to ignore some of the files that get created by Java or Eclipse which don't need to be recorded. The other thing about the license, well, for our purposes we don't need that. So I'm going to click on Create Repository now. And what it does is it creates an empty repository, or almost empty. It does have that .gitignore file, but apart from that there's no files in the repository. Okay, and we're going to use this repository to store the files from the project that we've created, and this will allow us to store those files online. So what I do here is I go to the repository online and click on the Clone or Download tab, and it gives me a URL here which I can copy to the clipboard by clicking this button. Now I go to Eclipse and right click on my project and go down to Team, and what I want to do is go to Remote and then Push. Now Eclipse is all automatically pasted in the URI here which I copied to the clipboard earlier. This stuff should get filled in automatically. This authentication box is where you need to type your username and password that you got when you signed up with GitHub, and so that you don't have to type that in every time, just tick the Store in Secure Store box. Now I click Next. Okay, now here I'm just going to choose Add All Branches Spec, and I'm going to tick the Force Update box and click Finish. Okay, now there'll be a short delay while it does the uploading, and then I can click Close. And as long as everything has worked okay, if you go back to this page and hit Reload, then you should see that now this file demo has been added into the repository. Okay, here's all of the stuff from my project. There's the source files. It's all inside my project. Okay, so that looks handy. How can I use that? Well, let's say that I'm now going to delete this project. So delete the project completely, and we can imagine that I might be on a different computer now. Okay, so I've moved to maybe, I don't know, my laptop or something like this, and maybe I'm in, well, I was going to say a cafe. Of course all of the cafes are closed down at the moment with coronavirus, but maybe I'm somewhere else, and I want to do a little bit of work on that project. Well, it's not a problem because I can import the project that I was working on earlier from GitHub. So I go to import project and then go to Git and then projects from Git. Then I choose clone URI, and it's actually put the URI that I had earlier into that space, so that's fine. And here's my password, username and password. Click next, click next. Oh, it's complaining because it still has that demo, so let's put it in a slightly different directory. I'll call it demo 2, and then next, next, finish. Okay, and what it's done is it's now fetched all of my source code from GitHub and put it into this folder. So my source code is back where it was before. Okay, now I can make changes here, so I can say, for example, this is version 3. Okay, so here's an extra addition. Okay, when I save that, notice that it appears up here in unsaved changes. So I do want Git to index that file and to record the changes that I've made to that file. I'll write a commit message, so added a version 3 feature, and I'll click commit. So now that's in my history. If I go to my history, I can see that I've now updated that history with version 3. Now it's only on the history of my local machine at the moment, so that Git file is stored on my local computer, but it isn't stored on this remote computer at the moment. Okay, so if I went to another computer and then tried to download this demo, then it isn't going to have the latest changes. So what I need to do is upload those latest changes, and that's easy to do. What I do is I right click on the project, go down to team, and then choose push. So push branch master, and then that's fine, click push. Okay, there's a short delay as it uploads again. Close. And now that has put the push onto the new machine, so let's just delete that again. Let's imagine that I've moved to a completely new computer. Import project, project from Git, clone URI. It's not on the clipboard, so I'll go to clone, copy that clipboard value, put it in there. Next, next. I need to change this again, so let's make it demo 3. Okay, and here I've cloned it again off the internet. Okay, and you can see this time the changes that I made to make it version 3 have been copied across. So this is basically just an extension to what we were doing with Git before. Before we were using Git to keep track and make snapshots of our files, and those snapshots were being stored on the local disk. But now by opening a GitHub account, I can store those files on the internet, and that means that I can access those files from anywhere, or I can get other people to have a look at my source code, and it's really convenient. I don't need to bundle up source code and email it to people or anything like that, which is a lot of hassle. So hope that helps you guys.